And a good midday, Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights Consulting. This is VELCO Weather Hazards Outlook. Looking at the big picture coast to coast, we can see that kind of a trough of lower pressure that's moved inland, and this is starting to cool things down a little bit to the west. That's pumping up a ridge of higher pressure in the east, but not before some jet stream energy is going to roll across the top of that ridge and out of the Ohio River Valley, lower Great Lakes, and eventually through Vermont. The most robust weather system that'll move through will be basically Thursday night into the first half of Friday morning, and really giving us about somewhere around a third to a half inch of total rainfall. A little bit of wet snow will be mixed in some of the highest elevations. This should not get to the valley floors. It looks like this will be a little bit too warm for that. And overall, we're looking at a relatively mild trend that'll gradually cool off. Now, these weather systems that'll be coming in from the west coast, eventually a ridge of higher pressure will pump up, and basically that'll drive a trough of lower pressure. And we'll see more of a kind of a northwesterly flow, or a lot of these sort of Alberta Clipper type systems working in through the region. This is going to gradually cool us off in terms of temperature. It's going to take a while. It's a gradual cool off, but the coldest day setting up basically for early next week along about Tuesday, where temperatures could actually top out below the freezing mark. Beyond that point, looks like another little bit of a roller coaster ride, but not a whole lot. Overall, just a little bit cooler as we head into the early to mid part of next week. In the meantime, let's take a look at the computer modeling world. Okay, this will be valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon at 18Z with the time change Eastern Daylight Time. So you can see what's going on here. Not a whole lot. A little bit of a ridge of higher pressure, and that's kind of why we have partly sunny skies. Out west, a little bit of a trough of lower pressure. And the European on the left-hand side, we have the GFS ensemble on the right-hand side. And so higher resolution on the left here, that's what we'll stick with, the European. You can see just a little bit of scanty sprinkles, really not a whole lot going on. That system zooms off to the east of our region during the overnight period, and then it'll set the stage for what looks to be a dry Thursday. This is valid about 2 o'clock tomorrow, 24 hours out. And it continues to be relatively dry. The next weather system, a little bit more robust. Again, trough of lower pressure picks up a little bit of moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico. Coming in off the Gulf there, we'll see some rain start to work along its high pressure periphery. And as it does, it works into Vermont with a little bit of wet snow in the very far northern areas. Don't feel this is going to be on the ground, but mostly in the higher terrain. This is valid for Friday morning. And you can see that as temperatures warm Friday afternoon, the precipitation ends, it pushes on out. Last half of Friday is looking better with an improving trend. And then we get into the sort of off and on business. This is our next customer here, but we have a couple very weak weather systems that are push on through and could deliver a few rain showers or wet snow showers. But progressively, the pattern is going to get a little bit cooler. This is valid at about 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So definitely as we get into the later part of Saturday and into Sunday, we're going to see some rain begin to push back into the region. And with this colder temperature, this kind of a area of trough, and looks like a pretty good northerly, northwesterly flow behind this weather system, 964 intensity. That's going to push in and carve out a trough further off to the east, and we're going to get into some wet snow shower and flurry action. You can see there's even some lake effect indications, some beards here hanging south and east of the Great Lakes with the flow. So as time goes on, this is on Monday, valid at about 18Z, that would be 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see there'll be some snow shower activity, and this may actually accumulate a little bit and maybe perhaps affect travel even down to the valley floors, as we'll see the coldest day coming in on Tuesday, just beyond the period. And beyond the period here, it looks like eventually things do dry out. Looks like a ridge is being pumped up off to the west, so another roller coaster ride, and eventually we'll see a little bit of mixed precipitation. This is not until the end of next week. We're talking the 22nd of March, and then that moves on out, changes back to rain. GFS ensemble running through the motions here. This is our biggest customer in terms of precipitation, just a couple sprinkles out ahead of it. And again, precipitation type, it's going to be kind of on the edge, so we're looking at basically a little bit of snow, primarily rain. And then as we work down, also the total QPF for the period here is about 0.5 of an inch with that uptick. And then we have these little minor versions that'll be, of course, producing just a little bit of leftover precipitation, one here, and so on and so forth. Almost noise in the system. Looking at the 850 millibar hectopascal temperatures, you can see that we're rain here, and then we slide into more wet snow or snow. And indeed, this is the weather pattern of what we're seeing here, with an uptick in the snow department, a downtick in the rain department. And also good news, we're not seeing anything that's going to cause any strong winds, much less than 40 knots as indicated at the top of Mount Mansfield, 850 hectopascal. This is Weather Prediction Center, next 7 days of total QPF, or accumulated precipitation. I mentioned that ridge of higher pressure is going to be building in, so that's going to have an effect on the west coast with limited amounts of precip. Everything shifts a little further to the east. The main band, the heavier rain band, is going to be through here. It looks like during the going offshore, and kind of so-so off to the west of our region. And likewise, temperatures will be above normal. We can see that colder air trying to make some inroads on the west coast, also northern Alaska, but really almost from the top to bottom, from Greenland all the way east of the Rocky Mountains into Mexico, it's above normal. And that above normal temperature is being realized 9 to 12 degrees above normal. For us, more like 6 to 9 degrees above normal. And then about 3 days later, it does get a little bit cooler as we see that trough progress further to the east. That means it's going to lower the temperatures, as you might expect. A little bit of cloud cover moving in for this morning, and through this afternoon we could see a couple light sprinkles, nothing real major there, and most of this appears to be in the northern areas and then also working off to the south. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.